Oh, what is going on, you dead set legends? And welcome to the Ready Bang, the number one live interactive arm wrestling podcast in the world. I'm your host, the Aussie Arm Wrestler, and I will be selfishly fucking biased in this show and probably happier than my guest on the show because I almost tripped over when he won in Dubai on the weekend, just trying to give the man a hug because I was so damn proud that he was kicking ass on the weekend. You all watched it live on pay-per-view. I'm talking about the skinniest boy in arm wrestling, and that is my man, Lachlan Adair. Lachlan, it's been a few days now. How are we feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good, feeling pretty healthy, feeling like I'm pretty keen to get back on that table already.
Wow, we'll fucking get to that in a moment because there was really no congratulations. It was, oh, yep, all right, next match, dickhead. Here we go. You think you're good? You think you're good? And we'll get to that in a moment. How long did you stay in Dubai? Because I left straight after.
I left pretty much 24 hours after the event. It was like, I think we ended up finishing at like 2 a.m.-ish? And then I left, so I needed to be at the airport at like 11 that Monday night for the flight.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I only stayed an extra little bit. I want to stay a little bit longer next time. It's awesome there. Every time I see Dubai, I get there, see a little bit more, and I'm like, actually, I think I might actually go do some more stuff because you know us, you and I don't really go and do touristy stuff.
Nah.
But I might. It's a pretty cool place. So
yeah, we eat. I make content. You nap. We meet up again, and we eat.
We eat, get more content, and
But let's give an insight for people that might not know. Like people think, fucking. I'll use you as an example. People don't use your name, but people are like, Lachlan, he's only going to Turkey. He's only going to Dubai for a free bloody holiday. Like, just give people an insight what you actually do from the moment you land till game day.
Yeah. All right. So the moment we land was we get picked up at the airport by a driver, which is great. We get driven out, obviously, to our hotel. Now, depending on the day and depending on the schedule, we get given a schedule of meetings we've got to attend to. And then as soon as we get there, like I think I arrived in the morning, by midday, I was out with Derek and Hannah getting content, right? So, and we did an interview with Derek and I that were chatting just together. And for the most part, we hit the ground running, promoting the event. So that'll be day one, kind of it's informal content, it's kind of trying to get people to learn who we are as people, not just arm wrestlers. And then the next day we'll have meetings. We'll be at the space, which is kind of where we are at Dubai, and the same thing with Turkey that we've got. Just a whole bunch of stuff we've got to do with that, signing shirts or signing trading cards. King of the table, we don't do the shirts or trade. We do the shirts, but
not as many.
Not as many, but there is at least 1 to 2 things per day that we actually have to do as athletes to promote the event. So look, there is some downtime, but between having to do what we got to do, trying to eat and rest, because that's the thing. It's not like I can go out and sit on my ass or travel around and spend 10 hours a day, touristing. Yeah. You got to remember too, like we get to go away from our families and we get to do what we do. It's different. I can't be spending a couple of grand on a holiday every couple of months, right? That's not how it works. So we get there, and this is our job. It's what we got to do. So it's my job to recover from the long ass flight. And the only people that don't have the long flights is the Europeans. So the Americans and us, we're just in recovery mode. So we're just sleeping, eating, hydrating, doing what we need to do for content. And I don't want to be wasting energy walking around. Obviously I've got to do X amount of steps per day just to keep things moving and staying healthy. But yeah, there's not all this time for leisure and what have you. When the event's over, we're all in a rush to get home because, and you know me, more than anyone, the least amount of time you can spend away from your family to do what we love is how we continue to be able to go away so often.
Yes. Yeah.
Imagine leaving your wife at home with the two kids for 2 weeks every time because you want to go holiday for a week. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I did that once and it killed me. So I did King of the Table. I think it was John and Vivoda. And then I went straight to Canada.
Yeah. I remember.
Afterwards. And there was 2 days where no one was in Canada. And I was like, just sitting in a hotel room like, fuck, I could be at home right now. I could be at home.
Right.
But we'll quickly say hi to everyone. And then I want to talk about something, Lockie, that happened 24 hours beforehand. And I want to know, was it a mistake or were you baiting some Georgians? Let's get in there. So I'm asking everyone, is it the year of Lachlan Adair? Because he's coming up big. And Timmy Turner reckons it is Lachlan's year where he takes that next step, the dangerous one, saying the year of the Anvil. Stizzy is up and about that you're on the show. So's STP. Connor Sale is in the chat, young fella.
Hey, Connor. How you doing, man? I know Connor from way back.
Crazy guy. He's got a big match coming up at the end of March. Can't wait for that one.
Oh,
He's saying, well done, Lockie.
Thanks,
we got Rick James in the chat. Sup, Lockie and Jake. Spermies, ready, bang. Welcome and congratulations on your win, Lockie.
Thanks, bro.
Before I say hi to everyone else, we're from a Western country. I'm not getting racist here, Lockie. So we're from a Western country, and for some reason, you have 7 letters in your first name, and internationally seems like the hardest name to pronounce ever. The things that I've heard, I can't imagine the way you've heard your name pronounced.
Mate, I can't believe people spell my name wrong when it's directly in front of them. Like, I'll be tagged in a post with my name spelled correctly, and they still get it wrong. I'm like, it's right. So I just get Lockie. Just make it easy. It's 2 syllables. You can even just go locks. Make it 1. Yeah, I will answer to all these things.
Lachlan, Lachlan. I'm just like, wow, okay. And it's not like it's your first match. Kind of been doing this for a while.
Yeah. Like even hilariously, like Devon, I think purposefully gets my name just a bit wrong because then every time he says it, Jody comes in the background and corrects him.
Oh, she's a cracker. What a firecracker she is. Yeah. I was very glad she was there. Right.
Yeah, we'll same. I think there's a lot of misconceptions about Jody, but when you see her in person and get to know her, you're like, no, she's all about arm wrestling.
Yeah. Superstar. I'm always, cool. Oh, is Jody coming? Awesome. So there's not going to be dead air in a conversation.
Oh, exactly, yeah. There's no dead air. It is live and well.
Yeah. It is brilliant. Don't move, bang. Congratulations on the win from Scotland.
Thank you.
Says Nathan. Rob's in there, ready, bang. Great match, Lachlan. Congrats on your victory. Exciting match.
Thank you.
What else have we got? Joshy Barker, the young fella. Do you still coach, Josh?
Not so much. I think when he's got a big match coming up, he'll hit me up. But generally, like he's been training for a long time. He's got a really good knowledge base. So he only needs help when it's a big match and he doesn't want to mess it up.
Yeah, and strong as shit. Anyway, hope you're doing well, Josh. Hope you are doing well. Sylvester Stallone's in there. Morrigan's in there. G'day, everyone. Much love from Scotland. Really enjoyed the event. Congrats, Lachlan. Jake, you're absolutely amazing. Thanks for everything you do. Ready? Bang.
Pretty pleased for all of me Scottish countrymen coming out of the woodwork. It's a bit nice. My family's Scottish, so yeah.
Just riding the coattails.
It's Lachlan William Adair, so it's very Scottish.
Yeah. You are now being the nickname Anvil's gone. You are now the Lachlan Ness Monster. That's how it's going to come here.
Yeah, the Loch Ness Monster. I've had that for a long time.
But everyone's in the chat. I just want to make sure I say hi to everyone. It's going to be killer. Everyone's having a bit of fun now. Lachlan, no disrespect, Linn. That is cool. Ronan, the Troll Slayer's in the chat. What is that stuff, Lachlan? It is brilliant. So 24 hours beforehand, we're all hanging out at the space, and then someone just wheels an arm wrestling table in front of it, and people just can't help themselves. You gave Arabuli the nod. The old what are these ones?
Yeah. Well, no.
International symbol. International symbol.
He initiated it. He came up and he was like, and I was like, all right, let's go. So because last time when I had a match with Arabuli, I pulled him the day 24 hours before the match too, left-handed, and he wiped the floor with me, which was at that time quite concerning. This time we went back and forth. When I let him initiate, he really had to work, and we had some long drawn out, I wouldn't call them matches, but long drawn out bouts. But when I decided to pull the trigger and go, it was over quick. So, I got the upper hand there, and then Davit thought he would jump on the table and give it a go. I'm not silly.
So what had happened, for those who didn't see, I was watching Lachlan, and he was really like, it's on my channel. He was smoking Arabuli, like just in practice pool guy. But here I am, and suddenly my pigeon chest comes out, and I'm like, yeah, that's my fucking guy there, just whooping Arabuli, rah rah. And then Davit came on with the left arm, and it was funny because the first time he just came in and went rah and ripped you. So then a part of me was like, oh shit. And then you're like, hang on, no, one more. And I was like, oh, data. Yeah.
It's a bit because I know, like, because I've watched him arm wrestle left and right, they're pretty much the same in terms of style. Like, my left arm that's why it's so fun for me to pull everyone left-handed, because there's no data that you can get from your left hand because it's so different to my right hand. Close your eyes, you wouldn't think you're even arm wrestling the same person. So that end of things doesn't bother me at all. But with Davit, like, I know his left arm was good, but I wasn't giving anything up. Just wanted him to come in probably feeling a little bit overconfident, and but I will say, in the warm-up, while he was warming up, bro, he was warming up he's warming up a lot. I even walked up to him and I was like, man, dude, like, chill out, like, do less. Because I was backstage having a nap. Like, I did a couple minutes with Jeff Nicholson, and I was like, all right, that feels good, fine, I don't need to do anymore, and I just went and laid down.
Because like, Lachlan is not taking the piss. He literally did, because our commentary booth was looking directly at where the athletes were warming up, and like, I'm walking around, and Barcho's almost praying. Ray's like flexing in the mirror, and he's doing all this, and I'm walking around. Dave's trying to compute everything, and you and Jeff were just pissing yourselves laughing, not even talking about arm wrestling. And I was like, oh, this is brilliant. This is brilliant.
I was super relaxed going into this, and I'm just, everyone I say, even Reno was kind of pacing, and I was like, Reno, sit down, dude. Like, just. And look, I've been the pacer, and I've done, I've been revved up, and I've warmed up too hard before. This time around, I was like, no, I'm going to do what the pros do it and just do nothing. You know,
So
I've tried the different approaches. Don't worry.
I was about to say, is that just come from learning now? Because now you got a big win last year at East versus West. You've broken the king of the table hoodoo now. Was that just another layer of you elevating? It's like, right, I'm a pretty intense guy, because it's like you played rugby, I played footy, so it's, oh my God, DP'd on the balls, get jacked up. Where was the moment when you were just like, oh no, I'm expending way too much energy. I'm just gonna chill out.
It was actually, that was from the last point, because I was pretty revved up for the Cressy match, and I was pacing around, and he wasn't. He was just kind of chilling as well, and it was me that was getting puffed out. So I thought, no, I'm just gonna chill. Like, granted, I'm way fitter than I was. But last time I was 113, 114 kilos, and I weighed in at 106. I'm now 105.4 as of this morning. So I'm going to continue, and if I can hover around that 105, and just stay around that, super easy for me to maintain. But so I'm a lot fitter, but I just didn't want to waste energy, and that's why, to get into the match, if we're going to segue straight into that, the second round, he caught me pretty close to the pad. We went back to center. I had my pronator up. I was in a pretty comfortable position, but then he went on a runner, and like a running foul. And I just thought, why dig myself out of this? I know I could, but why? Let's just concede. Got the restart, and then smashed him straight to the pad. And then that was round 2, 3, and 4. It was just straight down. So I just didn't want to waste any energy. So I was very much, of that, in that, I guess, that frame of mind leading into it. From backstage to even on the table was just be more efficient.
Yeah. And efficient you were. And that was one of the, I like when you put your ego aside, because a lot of people just don't want that visual of being pinned. You know what I mean? And you used the running foul rules to your system. Yeah. It's like, oh, you're on a runner and I'm stuck here. Cool. Let's start again.
You can have that, and I'm not going to get into the same position. Reset, and away we go. So,
was it round 1 or round 2 when you just knew he's done like a dog's dinner?
Well, I knew at the end of the second. And that's why, I guess the sequence of photos that happened have gone from kind of being a little bit more dour and serious on the corner. And then at the end of round 2, Jeff and I, we were all smiles. We just having a laugh. We weren't even talking about what I needed to do. We were just, whatever.
It's got to be ultra frustrating for the Georgian team, because, it was. The photos are out there. Go check out Lockie's Instagram. Yeah, it's like the first couple of rounds, you're just like staring at him, and you've got that nasty, like, you got to rip his face off look. And then, I think it's either round 2 or round 3. It's just not that it wasn't tough, but you're like, oh, I'm in control. Here we go.
Yeah, I was in complete control. Yeah, so
don't have to grind it out.
Yeah.
When you get wins on the big stage, you've done it now at East versus West, and you've done it now at King of the Table. Is it like excitement? Is it relief? Is it a big up yours to everyone that doubts you? What's that initial? Because not many people can get wins on, and you've done it now on the 2 biggest stages of arm wrestling.
Yeah, it's a mix. It's, there's definitely, always tempted, especially against the Georgians, and the amount of people that spoke shit that, Lockie doesn't have a chance, he's going to roll right through you, purely just because he was Georgian. Australia's shit, you hear all that sort of stuff. So you do have this initial, like, but, the ultimately sportsmanship kind of takes over, and you just, I don't like rubbing it in to my opponent. I did, ask him after if he was injured or everything was okay, and everything was. So, that's good. So, no hard feelings once it's all said and done. But initially, you see at the end of round one, I'm screaming in his face.
Yeah.
And that's a little bit of A, that's a bit of relief, and B, that's like, yeah, you thought you were going to come in. It's a little fuck you, little.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, initially it's not. I wouldn't call it frustration, but like you were saying, everyone was saying, Australia's shit. Lachlan's going to get rolled, but unfortunately, it's Arabuli that's got to cop the flogging. Like it's not David's fault. He's just competing against you, but you're like, here we go.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, the thing is about it too is, I think my wife made a post like my prep this time around was tumultuous. I had the worst prep running into it. I had a stomach bug leading into it. I'd lost, you imagine I'm 2 weeks out. So I got one Tuesday, I start getting unwell. And like stomach bug, whole thing, and I'm losing weight at a rate of knots. I couldn't eat for 3 days, and it just didn't stop coming out of me. Basically, whatever, it's gross, but I was really unwell. And even the Tuesday that I flew out, I still wasn't 100%. Like I was still only able to get 2 meals in a day, and even when I was in Dubai, I was having to take stomach medication just so I could eat 3 square meals a day. And I had a whole bunch of other stuff going on in the background, but that was the main thing. So I've come in, everyone's used to seeing me 114, 115 kilos and big as a house to 106. So obviously I had my own concerns about how I was going to perform. And, I was, in a way, I was telling everyone I felt way stronger at this weight, but I had no data to back that up. I was just feeling okay. So it was just kind of faking it till I made it, really, to be perfectly honest. But I did feel good. Like, for the first time in a long time, I can actually touch my shoulder with my thumb. Like, being crazy. Like, I've got more mobility. I haven't been able to do that. I was barely able to scratch my neck, like a couple of weeks ago. Haven't been able to do this was like, right. So, like, can you imagine? There was no room in my arm for the nerves to work properly. So this cutting of weight so far has been amazing. Like, I did one training session while I was still sick before I left, just so I could feel some weight, and my hand and wrist did feel amazing, but I didn't know how the rest of me was going to kind of hold up, how my energy levels were going to go. And that was part of me wanting to be so efficient, was like, I don't know, like I haven't been able to eat that many carbs where normally I would just carbs. But, it turns out me being lighter, I work much more efficiently and I'm a lot healthier at this weight. So this is me moving forward.
Here we go. 105. Kitagali, Toddzilla, David Vatican. You've been put on notice.
There's lots of matches now that are now, and it's good because I'm bigger coming down. Where Paul Linn, which we'll get into a little bit more, he's smaller, having to come up. Now, in my experience, having to put on weight for a match, especially when you've only got 3 months, I don't think it's going to work to his favour. It has never worked in my favour, putting on weight. It's not worked to Devin's. I mean, he put on weight and then actually got better as he went. No, I'm coming down.
Yeah. Devin's a different human, though. I wouldn't really be listening
I just have found, even Levan, when he's come in at 170, he performed better than when he did when he was 190.
Yeah, against Erdemes. Yeah, he was, I wouldn't say, he was still dominant, but yeah, I didn't think that 400-pound Levan, I think he was 403 or something. Yeah. And we saw what happened. Right, let's get a few comments on, and then we're going to talk about Lachlan's match with Lindiana Jones. It's going to be awesome. The Metal, thank you very much. He says, Metal in thine house. Really looking forward to this match, as in you and Paul Linn. might be the one I'm anticipating the most. Lachlan Hook Wars are the best. Ready, headbang. I mean,
that's a crazy card in June, though. Like, I is it? Oh, I don't know. I think it's the most stacked card that King of the Table have had.
yeah.
But it's certainly not their biggest. They had Levine and Devon, and that would, that I think is one of probably the biggest matches that we've had, that King of the Table has had. But I think from start to finish, now I'm first off the ranks, which I actually prefer. Like,
Okay, yeah.
I like being able to just turn up and compete and then just relax.
Then go back to your couch.
Yeah, go back to my couch. I'll probably we'll see. I might be in Hermes' corner, might not. He might come with his coach or whatever. But yeah, either way, massively stacked card. Super pumped to be a part of it, and I get to finally pull Paul in. Like, this has been a match that people have spoken about since I did anything internationally.
Yeah, it has. But yeah, where does Lachlan sit? Yeah, get him against Paul Linn. Get him against Paul Linn.
We were meant to have a match. See, if we go way back to Arizona 2019, where I pulled Mike a yellow. That was meant to be Paul Linn, but he got injured. So Mike stepped in. So we were meant to have a match back in 2019. So that's 5 years ago now.
Wow, that's right. I'd rather this Lockie than the Lachlan with hair 5 years ago. I want this Lachlan pulling Paul.
Yeah, Lachlan 5 years ago with hair was a bitch.
All righty. So Engen's forehead taco says Lachlan is the larger human being than Paul. Am I alone in thinking Paul versus Lachlan is a mismatch? I think Lachlan is too much. I thought Paul was around the 98 kilo.
Yeah.
And cuts for the 95 matches. Am I wrong?
Yeah. Correct. He comes in, he did say to me, guess I've got to eat up. And I'm like, okay, well, whatever. But, if we're going to complain about it, like, Arabuli was 9 kilograms heavier than me, and you don't see anyone bitching and complaining about that. It's just different when the shoe's on the other foot and your favorite puller is going against someone that, against anyone that, you want to see your favorite puller win, then people are going to go, oh, there's a weight difference. Shut up. Like, it makes no difference. Like, I didn't complain, nor have I ever complained. Did you hear Hermes complain about Levine being 180 kilograms when he was 130? No. Like, people talking about that shit, if it's within the weight class, shut up.
Yeah, and I think this is going to be for like a 105 ranking, I believe.
Yeah. I know he's ranked 95. He has competed in the 105s, but, let's not forget, what is he in the 95 kilo division? Is he number 2?
Number 2 or 3?
Yeah.
Because I think it's Irakli, Rustam.
Yeah.
And then maybe Paul.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. So, we've gotten someone who, I think I was ranked 6 in the 115 division, but that 115, I had Reno below me, and there was quite a few people that, within that that kind of realm of things, there was lots of matches that needed to be decided to see if that rank 6 was legitimate or not. I know I was top 10, but, we've gone top 10 versus top 3, and now I'm down a weight class, so it just makes sense. And I got the message. I'd finished pulling Davit, and I get a message from Engen saying, well done, Paul Linn, June, what do you think? Hell yeah.
So Engen's helping book the matches for King of the Table.
From my understanding, I think...
and then Don makes the final decision.
I think that's what happens. I think there's a suggestion. I think there's a couple people that... and I don't know. I'm making some assumptions. I feel like Neil Pickup has a real talent for picking matches.
Absolutely.
So does Engen, obviously.
100%.
So we've got 2 people in the corner saying, I think this would be a good match. And it's up to Don, I guess, to see, is it marketable? Is there a story behind it? Is it going to be worth putting it on this massive card? Is it, So he has to balance all of that. and look at the show as a whole. So I think it's a collaborative approach.
Yeah, I do find it funny that it's like you didn't even have time to have a shit. It's like you won, and then Engin's messaging you, June 1st, Paul Linn, you in?
Yeah, mate. Of course I'm in. Yeah.
I think that's awesome. We'll get into that match in a moment. This guy just wants please tell him I'm a huge fan from Canada. NJM. There we go. Spermies loves the Leinster, but would really like to see Lachlan win this one. I do have to apologise to you though, Lachlan, because when you did win, I don't think I could get to the table quick enough. I was like, my man, yeah. And I haven't gone back and watched the interview, but as you can see with the photos, I've got the stupidest grin on my face. I'm so happy for you. And things I couldn't be super professional because I'm like, yeah, my man.
I don't think anyone expects you to, like, when it comes to an Aussie being on the card, you're the Aussie arm wrestler. Of course. I think, honestly, it adds to the event. So, yeah.
And for me, it's more like if you were American and I was American, it'd be a bit different because Americans win a lot. You know what I mean? Like when people think of Australian arm wrestling, they think of you, they think of Ryan. And then if you two aren't performing on the big stage, that means there's zero good arm wrestlers in Australia. So then we sit there and we cop our lashings after lashings. But Ryan, yourself, me, we just keep, all right, cool. What's next? Where are we getting our lashings from next? Let's go. So then when you broke, because I was there for Arabuli, I was there for Krasny, so I really wanted to enjoy Happy Lachlan. Not that you're miserable, but you don't like to lose.
No one likes to lose. Obviously our response is like, okay, we've lost. Back to work. And, the thing is I'm still itching to get back into the gym. I'm just like, Lockie, you should take some rest, just chill out a little bit. I don't want to. My program is already written for the next 3 months to lead up to Paul Linn. I'm just ready to go. So yeah.
Man. Oh, we can't wait. I've got a poll going in the chat. Let me just get what have we got here, mate? Winning does a lot of things. 72%. 72% out of 79 votes think that you get the chocolates.
Well, it was a good match with Arabuli because it sorted a couple of things out all at once. So no longer have to we don't even need to talk about having a match with Chant Shaw because Davit beat Chant Shaw. Now he's way out of my weight class as well. Not something we have to worry about. I don't have to arm wrestle Zurab Tabrizi because Chant Shaw beat Zurab. So it's like, well, I'm going to pump Zurab as well. So there's that. This match is sorted out. I've left quite a few people behind, which is great, and now we can kind of concentrate on what's next. So I don't know what's after Paul Linn. I'd love a rematch with Krasimir sooner rather than later, especially we're coming in at the same weight, or at the same weight class. We can both come in at the 105s. Partly because I couldn't feel my hand in my match against Krasny. My hand had blown up, was no good. Where this time around, it was a hook wall. Did my hand blow up? Not at all. So, we fixed a lot. We changed a lot from Krasimir to Davit. So I reckon I would probably be much more competitive and feel like I would dominantly have that win in the bag against Krasimir. So, but it just depends if, on the powers that be,
Yeah. I mean, mate, I'll have it. That's for sure. I mean, the first match was highly entertaining. and then you calling him a crybaby was just the icing on the cake.
He might not want the match against me because he thinks I'm rude.
Yeah.
But here's the thing about that. If you're going to complain that someone's being rude, we're on the athletic, on the athletic stage, stop being a crybaby. But he hasn't, but we'll just see. If he says, no, I don't want to match with him because he's rude, then I will remain the status quo.
Are there any other, because you have got Todd Hutchings about you, you've got Matt Mask about you. You don't really care. It's like East versus West, king of the table, whoever. Who am I pulling? What's the date? Lock me in. But do you, besides Crassy, if they just went, Lachlan, we're going to give you a free pass, mate. You can pick your opponent because you're on a nice little win streak. Is there someone that you would really like?
I think it's always nice to get revenge. Right? Yeah. Let's just get some closure because I made some mistakes. Let me go back and correct those. And then we can move on with fresh meat, That's always a preference of mine. But at the end of the day, as you say, Angan or Don gives me a call and say, you good for this date? Yep. Let's go. Lock it in. Don't care. Just as long as I've got notice, happy days. And the thing is, I don't really even need that much notice. Give me 4 weeks. I'm good to go. I'm never that far away from being ready anyway. And that's how I design my training. It doesn't take me 3 months to get ready for shit. I'm always training. So it's really just give me a 4-week peak. I'm good to go.
Without divulging too much into your contract, right? Yeah. If you have, and everyone, for context purposes, I don't have any idea what's in Lachlan, so I'm guesstimating here. For example, say we're offering you a minimum 3 matches a year.
Yeah.
Right? Is there anything in there, or have you had chats that, hey, I want 5 this year? Or is it no, we're keeping you at 3. Let's see what happens.
It's a guaranteed 3 minimum.
Yeah.
So there is scope for me to arm wrestle more often.
I suppose it makes sense. So you've just beaten Davit. You get a good win on Paul Linn. There's August. There's an East versus West. September, there's a king of the table. Yeah. So you'll get your 3rd match there. And then November, December, it makes sense to give you
something there. I mean, it depends. Anger and the way the contract is set up is specifically to give people you're going to arm wrestle minimum this many times. So there's a guarantee, which is nice. But it also allows us pullers to really take care of our health. Not only, our overall health, but it gives us time for our elbows and everything to recover if we've had a hard match. It can be difficult, as we're seeing, Sanders, for instance. He competed a crazy amount last year. His shoulder's all banged up and he's had to take a little bit more of an extended off season.
Yeah.
And I like pulling. I've done, I think last year I went through a phase I pulled every month. Back to back. It does require some management and it does require a fair bit going into it to make sure that the health is maintained. But a promoter can't guarantee the health because no matter how unwell I was, people were how's your prep beforehand? I was it was amazing. Perfect. I've had a perfect prep. I'm not going to go tell people that I'm having a rough time. Do you know what I mean? So, and that's part of being an athlete and being a part of a promotion is you can't give people a reason to doubt you beforehand. So I think the way that those contracts are designed, it has the athlete's health in mind as well.
Yeah. And I want to rewrite a wrong. I just want to say McGillicuddy says props to Lachlan. Other elites should be worried. I want to rewrite a wrong from many, many years ago when I didn't have all the knowledge about arm wrestling. And if I haven't apologized before, Lachlan, I will apologize now because back in the day, I had my interpretations wrong of what is deemed an amateur and a professional arm wrestler. And I remember with the Todd. So for those of what happened, when the initial Lachlan Toddzilla beef, and I was like, well, I'm not sure if like Lachlan gets paid to arm wrestle. So I called him an amateur, receive a voice message. Hey, dude, I'm not an amateur. And I was like, fair enough. You explain why. And I was like, made sense. I got it wrong. Don't beat me up. So Lachlan, the professional arm wrestler, is on the show. Right. Let's hit up everyone in the chat. Here we go. And then I want your thoughts on some of the matches from the event we'll just at, and then Jude first, and then I'll let the man get back to it. I think Paul is in a world of trouble with Lachlan. So I'm down with that. Lachlan versus Barcho. Krasny has beaten both. Interesting. Arabuli and Lachlan, mouth-watering match. He's leveling up. That is for sure.
Yeah, not yet. I think Arabuli is focused on the 95 kilo class right now. And look, we hopped on the after table, and the way it was kind of put out was actually strange, the way the after pulled, because he immediately jumped on the table with Vitali and basically threw Vitali across the table. So that's going to give you an indication of how much a match can take it out of you. And Arabuli was just there to support Davit. So whatever. And then I jumped on the table with him, and my elbow was already sore. And I was like, I don't want to do this. And, he reached me across the table. So I think, realistically, credit to Arabuli. I think that's a match that I will want in probably 2 to 3 years. Of hard work and dedication. He's incredible. Like, let's just
specimen of an athlete. He's just excelled the last couple of years. That is
any losses that I would love to see a rematch against him versus Todd. I think that would be interesting. I would still give Todd the win because it's Toddzilla. But Arabuli is like, look at what he's doing in the gym. He's
And I think my funny things is, I mean, if we go back, I don't want to divulge too much into your losses, but King of the Table 5, you lose to Arabuli. What's Arabuli done since then? So you lost to a pretty good opponent.
Right.
You lost to Sandra Shedez. What's he done since then? Multi-time WAF champion, got on and beat some killer people. You lost to Krasimir Kostadinov. He's pinned Levan. Multi-time WAF champion, things like that. So it's not like you're losing to bums. It's not.
No, the only losses I've taken have been the very pointy end of things. And people so when people are counting me out, Lachlan shit, I'm just like, who have I lost to? I've beaten everyone who's anyone who's arm wrestled as long as I have. I'm come 7 years, coming into 8 years. I pound the fuck out of them every day of the week. No one is at the level that I'm at with this year, the amount of time in the sport, generally. Unless you get the odd crazy specimen, but we've got guys who, they've been at WAF since they were, WAF juniors and been arm wrestling since they were 10. That's kind of a different story. But I haven't found anyone that has been arm wrestling for the same time as I have. And who I haven't gone through. So, it's just one of those things. It's skin in the game. As much as I've tried to expedite my progress and be intelligent with my training, at the end of the day, my tendons are only being built at the same rate as everyone else. And it's just time in the sport. We found across the years that people get things click at 5-year mark. And then they click again at that 7 or 8 year, and we have another moment at 10 year, and then 15 year, you get another moment. And you talk to the guys that've been in it for 25 years, they can say that it's pretty across the board that you've been in it for 20 years. They all seem to have these kind of developmental changes that have just happened, after over a decade of being in the sport. So it's definitely a very interesting progression. We find some people they go nowhere in their career, and then they've been doing it for 12 years, and then bang, they've beaten everybody.
Camille Jablonski, 20 years in the sport.
Yeah.
Now it's clicking.
And we've barely heard from him, you know, in before these last couple of years. So, you know, just one of those things. I've been very lucky to get the opportunities that I have, and I've made the most of them. But yeah, you know, it's skin in the game, and I've got more of it now, and the wins are coming.
They certainly taste better. I'm not going to lie. And when you're there when they happen, I can't explain it to everyone watching. I cannot explain it. It was the same when Ryan won at Knuckles Up. Ryan won at King of the Table, but you know it was Carla's second match. But you know it's hard. All right, we'll get to some comments, and if anyone's got some final questions before I let my man go, Gunnar is in the chat. He is up and about. Brian, BT and T. It's like, this match is awesome. This is the first time I might actually call it 50-50. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. Weight cap with you and Paul?
105.
Yeah, I thought that might have been, which is what you wake up. When are you coming to Scotland, Lockie?
Well, I'm going to Scotland. I'm going to have a good reason for it. I don't have that much family there anymore, so I'll get there one day, but it's not like a short flight from Dubai to Scotland either.
Yeah, it's
still a ways to go.
With Connor, without sounding like a flog, and I might speak on behalf of Lockie, so you can tell me if I'm wrong, mate. When you live a particular lifestyle, it's very hard to spend your own money on flights. Knowing,
right?
So basically, if I could answer this question for Lachlan, when are you coming to Scotland? When they book a match in Scotland. Because all the time it's like, when are you coming to this country next? And I'm sure you get it all the time because you're very, very popular. You know, when are you coming here? When are you coming there? It's like, when I get booked.
Yeah.
Like,
honestly,
I haven't paid for a flight in 2 years.
It does come down to it. Look, and I've had my years of paying my own way. You know, people, you know, let's not forget, paid my own way to go to WAF. You know, there was a bunch of things that I paid for.
Lottie and things like that.
Yeah. Like Ryan subsidized Lottie, but there's been other, you know, quite a few tournaments where I've had to pay off my own back just to, you know, to be in. And, you know, I guess it would be a little bit different if I wasn't a family man, but you know, that's the thing. Like, when am I coming to Scotland? Yeah, it's like when I get booked, because it has to be worth it for me to be away from my business, be away from my family, be away from, you know, essentially earning money to support my household. So, you know, if someone's paying and they ask Engen very nicely, then I might make it. But you know, there's a couple of things there at play.
Yeah. It's brilliant. Right. Question. What do we got here? Question for Lachlan. How is Lachlan's training with Erdemes going? I'd love to know how that has affected Lachlan's arm wrestling.
Yeah, we're not so much in the traditional coach and student thing. We started that way. But obviously, you know, I've been coaching for a long time, and I feel like I've got, you know, somewhat of a bit of a talent for programming. It's kind of been my thing for a long time. So we kind of I will consult him and he helps me where possible, but it has had a pretty significant influence. There's a couple of movements that he recommended that I believe has made a monumental difference. I think chief among them is spending a lot of time on this boy through wrist ball, ultra grip. You know, and doing really long statics. You know, I'll start this block off again doing 25-second statics, stuff like that, with different handles and, you know, back pressure as well. But those long statics to build my tendons and ligaments has been, you know, as we saw, even on left, Arabuli tried to top roll me and I just crunched him straight in. My containment is gone through the roof, and that has made it very easy for me to set that hook. To a point, like against Davit, I was trying to top roll, but there was just so much availability just to do this. Like, I couldn't help myself from bending my wrist in and going over. I was trying to roll out from his hand, but it was just there. Like, it was... it was empty space. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go there. So yeah, but training with Hermes has been good. Definitely recommend him as a coach. But I guess when you've been doing it for long enough, I've been in powerlifting since I was a kid. It's programming is not something I really need much guidance with.
Yeah, fair enough. Lachlan, assuming Engen and Ryan make up, what do you think is a good matchup for Ryan? Would love to see Ryan on the big shows again.
Yeah, that's a hypothetical that is never going to come to fruition. So,
well, it could, because April 20th in Australia, the Sydney titles is an East versus West qualifier.
Yeah, but even with that, that's East versus West qualifier to go to Turkey, not to compete at East versus West.
No, I know.
Yeah, and even then, Engen holds the discretion to be able to put that person on the card or not.
Yeah.
So I don't think that is a way to weasel in.
I don't know if Ryan's competing. I know Ryan's doing his own thing, but then I was talking to Phil the other day, and he was like, "Oh, we're doing an East versus West qualifier." I'm like, "Oh, awesome! So good for Australia." Then I was like, "Oh, well, hang on, maybe Ryan could go compete and get to the finals, and then somehow pull it off." But yeah, unfortunately, I don't think.
I think that bridge is burnt. But look, there's plenty of room in the world for, as we've seen, for Ryan to get some amazing opportunities to keep pushing forward. So it's fine.
Well, he's pulling Ron Barth. What do you think of that match? He's pulling Ron Barth in 3 weeks.
Yeah, Ron Barth is strong, but so is Ryan. That's the thing. Like, even though Ryan and I are the same weight, and there's quite a gap between us, it doesn't mean that he's not capable of pulling off that win. He's very technical, and that's the thing. We're training partners, so I just know where to go to switch him off.
Yeah.
In terms of raw power, there's a lot going on. He's a strong dude, so I actually think, like, I'm going to give it to Ryan, but in my head, being logically, it's like a 51-49. Like, it's close. I think it's a great match. But I think Ryan will win.
Right.
I just think, Ron's super experienced, but Ryan is also very experienced, and he's really crafty. For Ryan to lose this, he needs to be just outpowered. It's not going to be, Ron finding a clever lane. Not that Ron isn't capable of finding a clever lane, but Ron has 2 main things that he does. And he's either strong enough to be able to do it, or he's not. Where Ryan can be quite crafty and beat people who he potentially shouldn't have if they don't exploit where he is weak. And he's very good at disguising it. I just know him inside and out. Instinctually, I know what to do with Ryan. So, we can't take the disparity between our levels as any kind of real data. Because, we know each other so well. And
when you know someone's Achilles heel, automatically, you're like, cool. Oh, is your camera on, Ryan?
Yeah. And I guess that's kind of the shock when Ryan does really well. People are always like, holy fuck. And it's like, well, no. Like, it's just because he has strength check 4,000 with me. It's like, it's not really a strength check because I just, like I said, I automatically just know where to go with him. And it's a struggle for me not to go there. I have to actively arm wrestle badly to But I'm going to give that one to Ryan.
Yeah, awesome. I can't wait for that. If you want to know, that's at Arm Gods March 23rd, Carlingford Island. I'll be there. You mentioned that you feel better at this lighter weight for arm wrestling. Will you continue to train and compete at this weight?
Yeah. So I'm not at all interested in doing any kind of water cuts. It's not something that is particularly conducive to my longevity and health moving forward. So it's much more sustainable for me to be at 105. And as a result, my body, my heart, everything works way more efficiently at 105. And I definitely felt that this past weekend. I barely even got out of the sweat. I wasn't huffing, I wasn't puffing. Just much more athletic at this weight, which has been kind of the main thing. I've dropped weight and there's been a return to my athleticism. So, coming from being a sprinter for a good part of my life as well, kind of lost a lot of that speed that I once had. So, looking forward, and I felt a lot faster this weekend. I was able to pull that trigger just a lot quicker, I feel.
Yeah, nice. And you're slowly becoming Mrs. Aussie Arm Wrestler's favourite puller. That was one of her first questions. Usually it's like, I love you, I miss you, I hope King of the Table went well. But one of the first questions she asked was, did Lachlan win? So
I think that might be more of a reflection on what her husband wants, and she's a good woman. I think she's probably like, did Lockie win? Less about me, more about your own excitement.
Oh, stop sugarcoating it. No, it is awesome. Guys, we'll wrap it up there. I've taken up an hour of the Anvil Lachlan Adair. I mean, you're all following on Instagram. I'm sure you're all subscribed to his YouTube channel and you're just following. If anyone is interested in coaching, I know a couple of guys at my club actually are being coached by Lockie, and they say that it is fucking spot on, and I can feel the improvements in their game. If you're watching this a little bit later, give your predictions for the June 1st King of the Table card. You're not going to believe it, Lockie. I'll be there as well. I can't miss a Lachlan Adair match at King of the Table. I think I've been to every one.
To be honest, I don't think the team would let you miss it. I think they have way too much fun with both of us there. So.
Yeah. It is brilliant. Guys, please, can we thank the Anvil Lachlan Adair for joining us? And I'll be on tomorrow with BLM and Bogdan Stoica about the Armgods' first world title match.
Yeah.
That'll be a good show. Lachlan, got any final words to everyone watching?
No, just, to quote Ray, be strong, love arm wrestling, right?
Words of wisdom.